Hello again, and we're gonna talk a bit about my God is in control, y'all. God is in control. When you're trying to figure it out, He's already worked it out. And the reason I'm laughing is because I'm telling you, within the last 2 or 3 weeks, so much have gone on. I could actually write a book about. And I was a little worried from time to time about different things, and now all of that is off of my plate because somehow it has mysteriously vanished, and God has worked it out. So I'm going to start with older people because when I say older, I'm going to say people probably in their late 70s and up, which is me pretty soon, but I'm not far away. But anyway, yeah, you all please discuss your end of life wishes with your family. A lot of people believe that it's taboo or they're superstitious about talking about death. And I understand that because they come from a different period, a different era than people in my generation. That's what we talk about freely, right? Make sure that your children understand what you want done, okay? What you need done. It's okay if you are married and you share with your spouse. That's great. It's a beautiful thing. Pillow talk is the best. But your children also need to know, out of fairness to them, they need to know what will happen if something happens to you. Don't discuss it only once in a person's lifetime and expect them to remember because you told them when they're in their 30s and now they're in their 60s or 70s themselves. Discuss it, make it a point, like maybe once a year, on maybe their birthday or your birthday, to discuss your wishes. Do you have long term care? Do you want to get long term care insurance? Because if something happens to you and you get sick and family is unable to take care of you, a nursing home you shall be. A lot of people get stigmas about going into nursing homes and nursing facilities. And I think they've gotten a lot better over the years, but you still have to, pick and choose, and you still have to show your face in there so that the staff knows that this person actually has family that's going to come and that's going to check in. Okay. So that's very, very important. I think that a lot of times as we get older, and we know we're starting to get sickly, people start to shut down. You know that you may perhaps have something that maybe it's not terminal, but you have an illness that could actually take you out of here. Talk to your family. Don't be afraid to let them know your thoughts on things. How are you feeling? This is the best time to get it done. You really should probably be talking like all throughout life. Like I've talked to my daughter all throughout life about stuff. But as I get older, I'm talking more about it because I'm older and anything can happen. Anything can happen, vice versa, and either way. So you should know, even if it's your kid, you may need to know what their wishes are too, because in this world that we're living in, you just don't know. Don't be afraid. Speak your mind. Let people know that you love them. Let people know that you appreciate them for even the smallest things that they do. Even if they're family, remember, they don't have to do it. A lot of people have had estranged relationships with one or the other parent, and then now they're older and they're sickly, and you're coming back around and trying to help them because you're trying to basically get into heaven. you know and you have some people who don't come back around. They know that their parents or their loved one is sickly, and that child or those children are like, whatever, throw them in a nursing home, do whatever, I don't care, because they weren't there for me. You try to really sit and think about what your parents went through when they were raising you, and just different ways that life was affecting them. and you try to be respectful, and maybe come back at the end. That's just how I feel. A lot of people don't. I know people who are not speaking to either of their parents, and both of their parents are living. So um, I know it's a personal choice that you have. Okay, you want to make it the right thing, because you are trying to go above, I hope. But why do I say God is in control? Well, I'll tell you personally, there have been some things going on in my individual family that I'm not happy with. I have no control over my um, family's finances, right? I don't have any control. I don't know what their finances look like. I don't even care what their finances look like. But I don't think that you have to share that. Like, I'm not going around telling everybody like how much I make, or the two nickels I have in the bank to rub together. I'm not saying that, but people need to know a little bit about you and your life. You cannot be tight-lipped about every aspect of your life. If you have living family members that you trust, you cannot put trust in only one person, because God forbid that person not even die, right? Have a stroke. They're still living, but now they cannot speak, right? And you've entrusted one person with all of your business, all of your information, and now that person is still here, but they're unhelpful to anybody, because now they can't talk, and your mind is not good, so you can't speak for yourself, and you don't know much of anything. Don't let one person control all aspects of your life, is what I'm saying. Share some of the Delegate some of the responsibilities to other family members, so that when you get in a bind, you get in trouble, people can come to your rescue, and they know what they're talking about. They know how to help you. Don't be afraid. Don't be tight-lipped with all of your matters of the heart, because you have a family that loves you and a family that wants to help you. So this is my personal story. Person, right, we love and we want to help, but we can't, because we don't know a lot of information, and information that you get from another person or other people other than people that's in the medical community, social workers, doctors, nurses. That information, sometimes, if you ever played a game a couple years ago, when you go to a party and you tell one person a secret, and they're supposed to tell to the next person, by the time it got around 10 people, the story was totally misinformed and miscommunicated, because of what a person hears and what a person speaks out. That's what happens in real life. So when one person is carrying the load and disseminating all the information, it gets changed every time the story is told. Remember that. Remember that, and be mindful of that. So share responsibilities within families. I appreciate you all who are listening. I know that I am not the only one. I know right now somebody is going through something with their mom, their dad, their great uncle, their great aunt, of hoarding information, and you not being able to help them properly. And it's very, very, very frustrating. It's not cute. So why again am I saying God is in control? Because this is my story and this is what's happening with me. But I found out some information yesterday that a hoarder of information, let's say, things are going south because you did not reach out, and you did not ask for help, and you did not ask people who could maybe help you. Now, I'm not a person that knows a lot about one thing. I know a little bit about several things, and I always have the internet. I always have Chat GPT if needed, and I always can reach out to a VA, like a legal aid or legal assistance, because I like to know what I'm talking about. I like to know what I'm doing, and I like to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. I've been in a boat where my husband was in the hospital for 45 days on a surgery that was botched, And I've gone through a little bit of everything during that hospital stay. I had to reach out to so many people and get so many questions answered. I did not hoard information. My close friends and family all knew, and everybody was on it. That's what you call family. And when I say close friends, they're not blood related, but they did the do. They knew what was going on. They knew what I needed, and everybody was researching, and we came together as a group and was able to make really, really good decisions for my husband at the time, right? So you have to find your community. You cannot be hoarding health information from your family. My situation personally, that's what's going on in my life. And if you do have a family that's doing that, I would say still try to help them and still try to encourage them to talk about different things. Like, I'm a good poker. I can poke the iron, right? And poke the bear and get information. So I'm able to get the information that I think I need, but I'm not able to help like I would like to. And I'm just come to a conclusion that that's just the way it's going to be until death do us part, right? That's the way. I'm not going to worry or stress about it because, like I said, God is in control. And everything that I saw as a shortcoming and everything that I saw that this could possibly happen if this don't, it's happening. So, not that I'm smiling down on someone else's ill fate, but I'm smiling that God steps in a way that's incredible, that you just can't believe or that you just can't imagine, and get things done. He get things done. So I'm going to have a very blessed day, and I hope that you do also. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. Please leave comments. Whenever I do these long videos, I get long comments. So I'm ready, and I will respond to comments because, like I said, God is in control. I'm not the only one who's going through this. There's other people watching that maybe have a parent that's stubborn, that don't want to listen, that don't want to take their medicine and do all the right things, and now have found themselves inside of a rehab facility, and you're going through the same fight. So power to you. Let's come together as a group, leave comments, let's conversate, and let's keep this going because a lot of people need information. A lot of people need help. And figuring out the Medicare and the Medicaid, you got to be like a PhD student. It's a lot to that. So again, leave your comments. And if you're familiar also with the Medicaid and Medicare, leave any comments that you might be familiar with on those. I know that a lot of times they like you to exhaust all your assets. So if you own homes, they would like for you to sell them. They would like you to use all your money in your accounts, your retirement accounts or your savings account before you can start getting help from the federal government. I myself agree with it because all of us are going to have a rainy day. We are saving for when we are older Americans or older, whatever nationality you are, and we have a little bit of money for a rainy day. But when it rains, it pours and it wipes out every penny you have, and that's when you need the federal government, and that's what they're there for. Fortunately, they're there. So you have someone that can help you, but you have to take care of a couple things first. And a lot of times, older people are living in houses that are too big for them anyway. I can name 5 people that I know that have a house that's too big for them. They could do well in a 2-bedroom. You know, they could do really well. So right now is probably not the time because the market is not good for selling and buying. And I get it. I understand it. You're going to have to do what you have to do. You're going to have to figure it out. But God is in control. Thank you for watching. Peace. Love y'all.